After many months of weather that felt like summer, even in months like October and November, the temperature had finally descended below 30 degrees. And so, my autumn was ready to smolder into winter. The lovers. I had just completed a busy autumn season with readings and my various practices, and also just completed a video that took me weeks to film, edit, and release into the world, which had culminated to a harvest of memories we made during the autumn season. All right, everyone, here we go. And by this time where I live,
oh my goodness,
nature was on the edge of a new season.
oh, snow expected.
And so, on the eve of the winter solstice, a pleasant gift began to fall from the sky. The very first snow flurry of the season had visited us. The serenity of the swirling snowflakes slowly cascaded, descending down with a soft drift to rest peacefully. I was very excited to see the snow. Some of my spirits are what I have come to call weather spirits, and some of them are associated with snow in my various cultures. So it was a very synchronistic moment to have the first snowfall happen on the eve of the winter solstice. And so the snow had continued to arrive, and it waited throughout the longest night of the year to greet us on the morning of the winter solstice. As you can see, it snowed overnight and actually is on the ground. Snow is super beautiful. And we woke up to the dusting of snow outside our window, and twinkling fields ready to so gleamingly and endearingly invite us into the new season. Hey everyone, it's the winter solstice. As you can see, the plants are dormant, covered in snow, and yesterday was the very first big snowfall of the season. And it's right in time. perfect time. The time is always right. My goodness, I hear him. Where is he?
What does it sound like?
Oh my gosh. It's finally winter. Oh my gosh. I can hear Santa. On the winter solstice. Here he comes. Oh my gosh, here he comes. Okay, let's go. All right, here he comes. Here he comes. There he is. Here he comes, Santa. Okay, we gotta run, All right, we gotta run. Here we go. For Santa. Oh my God, it is so cold out here right now. Oh my goodness, it is so cold. Ah, there he is. There he is. Merry Christmas. Okay, hurry up. Let's run back in. It's so cold. Ah! Okay, so it is the winter solstice. Today, I wanted to do a more simple winter solstice. I've been really busy, and so I didn't really have a lot of time to put a lot of preparation into the winter solstice, but I actually kind of like that because I feel like I get to actually work with the energy of today rather than planning it in advance. There are definitely some times when I like to plan things in advance, and there are other times when I just like to feel through it. I've been really busy, and so I wanted this year to be just a simple winter solstice, and I really do feel like that matches the energy of the winter solstice this year. It's on a waning moon, and I definitely feel that waning moon energy. I definitely feel like I need some rest, recuperation. I want to do a few things today on the winter solstice that help bring in that relaxation, help bring in the rest and recuperation after a very busy harvest season. And a few things I thought about doing were a simmer pot, just to invoke that ambiance into the house. This year, the winter solstice falls on a waning moon, and I thought that would be a perfect use of the waning moon energy. Another thing I wanted to do was maybe a cleansing bath. It's really cold here today. It'd be really nice to just sit in the bathtub and actually give myself a really nice cleanse. So I think I'm gonna do that too. It was really nice because when we woke up, there was all this snow on the ground, and I came downstairs and it smelled so nice in here. It smelled like gingerbread because we already had some gingerbread pancakes being made. And so the whole house smelled like gingerbread, and it was just such a moment of like, it's finally winter. And it got me really excited and really in that festive season. So that's a few things I want to do. I want to do a simmer pot, a nice cleansing bath, and I also think maybe watching a Christmas movie would be nice. This is a very simple winter solstice. It's more about rest, reflection, recuperation, relaxation, and bringing in that ambiance of quiet, of introspection. And so yeah, enjoy this very simple winter solstice vlog. During the days following, I decided to scrapbook this day after I practiced it, to visually recreate my day as a relaxing way to remember what I did. And I decided to film it and include it here to share with you as well. I was feeling nostalgic and wanted to reminisce, excited and wanted to celebrate, tired and needed rest, and inspired and wanted to contemplate. And so, I chose some practices for these purposes. This is an overview of the practices of the day. The first task was picking pine and pine cones, then a simmer pot, then a cleansing bath, then my diary reflections. I felt called to choose some tarot cards that really embodied the energy of the day to help me further settle in and embrace and manifest that energy. If I had 2 cards to describe the winter solstice this year, it would be these 2 cards, the Hermit and the 4 of Swords. And both the winter solstice and I naturally embodied them in synchronicity. So I decided to bring them out as I practiced throughout the day. The way this day unfolded in general was also synchronistic. I oftentimes plan in advance how I will celebrate important dates of the year. There are many different traditions from my various cultures that celebrate these days of winter. But this year, I didn't plan out how I was going to celebrate the winter solstice. I didn't plan it out in advance because I didn't have a lot of time to. And in a lot of ways, I'm happy I made my plan on the morning of this day instead. Because looking back, I think it was meant to happen this way, so I could spontaneously choose what to do. The winter solstice is the shortest day and the longest night of the year. It symbolizes the rebirth of the sun, endings and new beginnings, celebration after the harvest season, stillness, rest, reflection, renewal, hope, and the beginning of shorter nights and brighter, longer days to come. When I woke up in the morning, I felt a natural connection and synchronicity between my emotions, feelings, mood, and energy levels, and the themes, symbolism, meaning, and nature of the winter solstice. Planning spontaneously on this day gave me the opportunity to actually realize this, and the space to be introspective and reflect on it, and make my to-do list according to how I was feeling in the moment, and how I naturally connected to the winter solstice. In Latin, the word solstice means sun standing still. And it was nice to spend a few moments to be withdrawn in the stillness and solitude. There is a time and place to be spontaneous and follow your emotions, and on this day, it felt right. I notice my emotions tend to be in tune with the seasons. I am always paying attention and listening to my emotions, as my emotions are part of my magic. I wanted to make quality use of my feelings and the energies of the solstice and the connection between them. I felt like I needed to just take a step back and really focus on this day, really connect to the solstice and do my best to carry it out and celebrate it in the way that the winter solstice was telling me to. The winter solstice and I seemed to have a lot in common, and I felt like it got me. It understood me, and I understood it. And it was this connection that inspired me to embrace and integrate these emotions with how I would practice, celebrate, and honor this day. My first task was journeying into the outdoors, and by outdoors, I mean my yard. I felt the excitement and cheerfulness of the season as the brisk, cool air welcomed me into winter. It was time to hold my lantern up and see what wisdom the winter solstice would illuminate to me on this day for me to discover and glean.
Solar powered. All right, nope, that's not working, all right? Correct.
And so, I let the winter solstice guide me. And I followed the subdued sounds of the hushed wind brush across the surface of soft snow. And it led me to the quiet tranquility of the still snow-covered fields. And I felt calm and balanced and at one with them. The silence of the winter solstice was a tree without its leaves. Its rustle in the wind became the sound of the fairies brushing ice dust off its bare branches. For me, winter makes me feel whimsical and mysterious, and it always seems to have this unique way of enchanting me. The sun was like the hermit, modestly hiding behind a veil of the frosty haze in the sky, and it was like the Four of Swords, taking a break to subtly prepare to reappear again sometime soon. Winter is a time to be soft and still and reflect and ponder, to be grateful and appreciate the beauty that is all around, a time I always return to introspection to look within myself, to take time to really listen closely to my surroundings, even when all that can be heard is the occasional sway of a branch from a bird's sudden flight. While getting to know the winter solstice, I learned that it was introverted, and I related to it, as my personality tends to be introverted as well. The winter solstice was modest and reserved, and I'm shy like the deer who were nowhere to be found, but left their footsteps behind to follow. I consider myself quite solitary, like the hermit, and I love the privacy that winter brings. There's something about being outdoors on a snow day that feels secluded, a sort of deserted alpine setting. There's something about how barren it is, how not many people are out, and I can be all free and mysterious. And the paved paths were all covered, so I created my own. I love how I can fully embrace my independence and go to the places that others think are too cold or brisk to go to. I was one of the only ones who ventured outdoors, it seemed. I was hidden in plain sight, and no one saw me because on this day, no one was looking. The winter solstice was like a good old friend that you can sit in silence with, and it isn't awkward. The winter solstice felt tame, calm, grounded, and easygoing, and I felt the same. The winter solstice just is. It's still. I was on the search for a quiet, simple, and blissful moment to connect with my spirits, the spirits of nature, and to be at one with the winter weather. I wanted to spend most of the day at home to embrace the hermit energy within me, to just allow life to be simple for a second, and just allow things to be quiet so I can hear the whispers of my spirits. To rekindle the flickering light within my lantern, both figuratively and literally, it's solar powered. I was on a journey to reignite the light within me again, just like the winter was in search of its light again too. I was feeling that sense of simplicity and feeling lighthearted, and just wanted to go with the flow of wherever the day took me, sort of like how the peaceful snowflakes floated to fall wherever they are meant to. So, I decided to practice a simple, quick, low energy, and sentimental pastime to carry me into the day. This day is short after all. I gathered some evergreen pine and pine cones with fresh fallen snow to practice an activity that I used to do with my mom growing up, and to invite some hallmark winter scents and ambiance into my home. When my mom was raising me, she would bring me outside to the pine trees to collect pine cones with her. We would bring them inside, and sometimes we would decorate them together. We did this all year round. My mom and I share the same spiritual gifts, including mediumship. She has since passed away, and and picking pine cones is one of the many ways I honor, represent, and connect with her. I thought of her as I collected the pine cones, reaching underneath the evergreens to find them hidden beneath the freezing snow, picking them up with my cold hands and placing them in my basket. It was nostalgic, reminiscing on childhood memories we made together, and I knew she was looking down, remembering the memories with me. And I could hear her voice in my head telling me how we used to have so much fun. I also picked this activity because of the association with pine cones in winter, and how they are a staple in winter traditions. Because of this memory, pine and pine cones are a symbol of maternity, or elders or mother figures for me, amongst other symbolism. I connected to the pine and pine cones, their magical properties, and what their symbolism means to me, and what I was trying to manifest. The key words were new beginnings, birth and rebirth, ancestry and descendants, strength, fertility, inner growth, personal power, resilience, hope, and faith. And before I knew it, within only a few hours, the sky was dwindling from yellow to amber across the snowy landscape and into a shadowy dusk. And I could feel my energy levels diminishing, like how the winter solstice was fading into the earliest nightfall. And by the time our outdoor practice had ended, the snow was already starting to defrost on the ground and started to melt on my pine cones like it would in the warmer days to come. And it was time for me to defrost inside as well with a warmer practice.
Let's crank this shit.
Oh gosh.
Christmas.
Too late.
The radio.
Oh, look, it's so pretty.
Merry Christmas from Phillies B101. It's the most wonderful time of the year. With the kiss, jingle belling, and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's
Okay, so we got some herbs, cranberries. Now we need oranges.
Those apples.
Alright, so we got the cranberries, we got some herbs, and now we need oranges. Here they are. Okay. There's only a few left.
This one's nice.
Let's get that one. And that one.
Really? I was feeling this one.
That one? Oh yeah. Nice green.
See it?
Inviting some powerful prosperity and money. Let's do it.
Or do you want that?
No, I like that one.
Okay.
Alright, we gotta type in the number.
Right.
This goes hard. Did your dad really go see them live?
Yeah.
I'm so
In Philadelphia.
jealous.
He said it was like one gigantic light show.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he said that like there's like the lights synchronized with like them like doing the drum beats and everything, and he said it's nuts.
All right, so we are beginning our simmer pot. We have oranges, cranberries, some herbs, cinnamon sticks, and some spices. So we're starting our simmer pot. Really excited. There's a few things I'm doing for the winter solstice this year, and one of them is making a simmer pot. I'm including various ingredients that are associated with Yule for the simmer pot. Oranges, cranberries, rosemary, thyme, basil, cinnamon sticks, cloves, and we're branching out a little bit and adding some blueberries. This is really looking like Yule, if I don't say so myself. I chose a simmer pot recipe according to some traditional ingredients of these winter days. I originally discovered this lovely recipe from a website blog, and I tweaked it a little bit to add additional ingredients that I wanted to include. A link is posted in the description box below to reference it. I thought some coziness was in order, and I was feeling in an uplifted, hopeful, and cheerful mood to invite and welcome all the cozy, enchanting, comforting energies and winter ambiance into my home. And so, it was time to ignite some warmth with glowing oranges, symbolizing the sun. The winter solstice is the rebirth of the sun after all, so this practice intended to welcome and celebrate its new increasing light and brighter, longer days to come. My intentions with this simmer pot were also to cleanse, purify, renew, and uplift the energy of my home as well. the ingredients manifest prosperity and money, which I intended to increase with the growing of lighter days. I also used the simmer pot to secure and protect the hopeful, peaceful, happy energy within me and my space. And so, I added all of the ingredients and enjoyed the aromas. And so, all the ingredients were in the simmer pot, boiling and bubbling, nice and snug, and brought to a nice, soft simmer. The sweet scents of orange, cranberries, and blueberries mixed with the herbs and spices to create a sweet warmth and made me feel an amplified sense of joy, happiness, and contentment. And this energy danced throughout my home. And before I knew it, within only a few hours, it was time to put a lid on our simmer pot and settle in to the next task of the day. I was like the trees whose leaves were harvested by the autumn winds. Or the perennials who became dormant after the first winter frost. I was tired from a great bountiful harvest of a long autumn season, and cold from the frigid outdoors. My energy levels were synonymous with the darkest, dimmest day of the year. As the days became shorter, my social battery levels were dropping lower, like the temperatures becoming colder. And the winter solstice was coaxing me to recharge and rest. Like an old wise grandparent who knows best. So my energy levels were also naturally in tune with the winter solstice as well. I really needed to give my mind, body, and soul a chance to refresh for another year ahead. And I took the solstice's advice. So it was time to manifest rest, rejuvenation, and equanimity. So I prepared a nice, calm, warm lavender bath to cleanse and manifest relaxation and restoration. I gathered some ingredients to manifest the desired ambiance and my intentions. I brought the tarot cards with me to be present during the ritual. I first cleansed and protected my space. I set up a spell as part of the ritual. Waiting for a special moment to use these. And in the spell, I included the pine and pine cones, as well as the pine cone candle. I also lit a pine-scented candle. The winter solstice is a time of hibernation. And so, I prepared my cozy little sanctuary to hibernate and hide away for this very much so needed reset, for this cleansing and renewal ritual. I brought my lavender woodwick candle and I lit it as well. I love the sound of woodwick candles with their crackling noise. And I also lit the pine cone candle. I also brought some dried lavender, along with my lavender essential oil bubble bath soap. I lit the candles during the bath to allow the candles to manifest over me. And so, the ritual had begun. The space was truly a cozy little sanctuary and hideaway to hibernate, think, contemplate, relax, and enjoy. With no makeup, with nowhere to be, except in solitude. And it turned out to be a delightful ritual to help me accumulate my energy. I put some acoustic music on, and I connected to the Four of Swords, taking this time out and taking a break from busy everyday life. And I laid down in the bathtub, closed my eyes, and slowed down. The element water is connected to the moon. A good ritual to do during the evening is a bath, because the moon is out, and baths are a water ritual, and the moon is connected to water. So it's a good ritual to do to harness the lunar energy. The moon is the planet of emotions, intuition, instincts, and subconscious mind. I was mindful of the moon's waning gibbous phase on this day. The waning moon depletes in luminosity. It symbolizes the dissemination of energy and the early stages of completion, as it will eventually disappear into darkness. Like the Four of Swords, the waning moon is a time of reflection, rest, introspection, and preparation. I also noticed on this day how the waning moon phase matched these themes, symbolism, meaning, and nature of the winter solstice, and further emphasized, amplified, and supported the energies of tiredness, rest, darkness, stillness, completion, renewal, and introspection that often accompanies the winter solstice. I felt the waning moon's energy on this day, and I connected to it strongly. The moon, the planet that connects to emotions, was in the zodiac sign Virgo, which is the sign of the Hermit card, and I felt an emotional connection to this day. Although my sun sign isn't Virgo, two of my grandparents were Virgo sun signs. My mom, who raised me, is a Virgo sun, and my pop-up on my dad's side of the family is a Virgo as well. And this was yet another clever clue and synchronicity to confirm and illuminate my path forwards. The energy of Virgo can be emotionally grounded, analytical, detail-oriented, and practical, and I felt the introverted, grounded energies. The zodiac sign Virgo has themes in common with the Four of Swords, as both are thoughtful, think deeply, have self-awareness, have the tendency to prepare, and are wise. The moon was like the hermit, tucked and retreating behind the snow clouds in solitude, yet still subtly glowing in the distance like a lantern. So, the backdrop of a grounded and analytical waning gibbous Virgo hermit moon was the perfect setting for reflection, relaxation, to find solitude and self-care, and to do my diary reflections. The Winter Solstice and Four of Swords were nudging me to use this relaxing time to do some writing, so I also brought my diary to write my reflections. As I meditated on the Four of Swords card, I connected to its energies of contemplation, focus, thoughtfulness, reflection, wisdom, and inner guidance. I recorded my practices and also included my observations about how I connected to the day. Meditating on the Four of Swords card brought so much insight and inspiration, and in addition to recording my practices, it also manifested deep, thoughtful reflections that felt synchronistic as well. For instance, I love the smell of lavender in the winter. And something pleasant happened while I was sitting enjoying the bath. I chose lavender because of its magical properties, but the lavender gave me something else instead. It took me back and reminded me of the memories of that December when I first started my channel 4 years ago. I would often light lavender candles while working doing readings for people, and I did it so often back then that the scent of lavender really holds that memory for me. It's a nice scent to bring in to reflect on what has happened up until now. Not only does it have those magical properties for rest, calm, relaxation, peace, and reflection, but it also connects me to a time that I'm happy to reflect on. And so the scent of lavender has since become a positive memory that had reminded me of how much can happen in 4 years. The choice of using lavender was because of its magical properties, but it was a pleasant surprise when the scent brought the memories back of the small beginnings of my channel and manifested on its own a sense of reflection of what has been, what is now, and what will be. So it was actually the perfect ingredient to include in my bath while I was writing my reflections. The scent of lavender and pine filled the room, and I also manifested with the pinecone candles floating in the bath as well. The warmth was so cozy after a cold, brisk day, connecting to the wintry outdoors, and I thought about how the snow would eventually melt into water and bring spring. The compare and contrast of cold and warm got me thinking about the theme of duality on this day. Endings and new beginnings, dark and light, descending and increasing, and how there is both a winter and summer solstice, and how they are complementary to one another, and how this creates balance in life. And I felt that sense of balance within me on this day, and tried to manifest more of it. And so, it was time to leave the bath and continue my diary reflections. Initially, when I first started writing these diary reflections, I ended up getting very inspired. And it turned out that these first sparks of inspiration ended up becoming the start of a creative writing project that I spent a lot of time with, deeply in the Hermit and Four of Swords energy. Exploring, reflecting on, and working on all winter. And it ended up becoming a 100-page document that I eventually chiseled down to 10 pages. And so, things kind of snowballed into one another, and it became part of the narration for this video. These initial diary reflections ended up manifesting into more reflection and contemplation with the days following, and manifested much inspiration. I took the time to reflect on the previous year, to appreciate the special moments I had, and to thank my spirits for being there for me, and for everything they do for me, and everything they've brought me. I set my intentions to hold my lantern up to the topics I'm curious about, to bring to light and illuminate more knowledge I want to learn in the future. The Hermit and Four of Swords both look within, seek solace and refuge, and have quiet time to reflect. The Hermit finds wisdom in the dark with its lantern, and the Four of Swords quietly prepares with the wisdom it finds. And although the Hermit searches and travels and wanders, the Hermit's journey is internal. And what the Hermit is searching for is internal, independent, and it's only the Hermit's defined. The Hermit's journey is not about a place, nor is it defined where to belong or the destination. The Hermit's journey is internal, between them and themselves. Because that's where all the answers are found. During the moments of the Four of Swords. The Hermit is intuitive and doesn't listen to everyone else, or follow the crowd, or what everyone else is doing. It follows its inner light, its inner guidance, and it develops it on its own through experience and exploration. And it has its own timing. And when it finds what it is searching for all along, it finds that what it was searching for was inside, within it the whole time. Once the hermit discovers this, it knows this, and it becomes very wise. I learned there's power in independence and doing things your way. I've always considered myself solitary, and I do my own thing. There's power in walking your own path. And I've learned that being set apart is part of someone's purpose. These are some of the lessons of the Hermit, Four of Swords, and the Winter Solstice. Do you notice you have an emotional connection with the seasons? I'm sure many of us do. And so, the shortest day of the year was already over. And in the darkness, the winter solstice tiptoed into its inevitable slumber, and I could feel its sleepy energy embrace me. And I followed its lead to get even more rest. Sleepy in my PJs to fall fast asleep into winter dormancy, so that when I woke again, I'd be ready to enjoy many other winter traditions and celebrations with family, friends, and my spirits in my cultural practice.